think the difference is between the stairway to heaven or the highway to hell? Expected traffic numbers. Think about that one for a little bit. Okay, sometimes we can feel like we're stuck in our own internal hell, and no matter what we do, we keep being pulled back to the same position. And whatever level you're at, that's the level that you possess. So if you're stuck on the physical level, then you're not able to get a handle on your emotions because the emotional level is above the actions. And if you're stuck at the emotional level, well, you've got the emotions and the actions, but you don't have the beliefs. You go up to the belief level, then you have the beliefs, then you have the emotions, and you have the actions. It is what is known as an identity upgrade. But before you can upgrade to who you really are, you have to be able to accept the suggestions. Instead of riding that highway that keeps taking you back to that pain, you need to begin to possess the pathways that are going to take you to where you want to be. Some people have a superhighway in their mind that is going to take them right back to the past, to those painful memories. But when we give the pain a purpose to upgrade your life, when we give the pain a purpose for progress, then you can see yourself stepping up higher to creativity, to problem solving, to being able to live the life that you desire, that you choose. But it all goes back to, are you willing to accept the suggestions? And you've already probably written down your goals, you've done vision boards, you've chanted affirmations, and things still aren't any better. You tried the diet and the body still held on to the weight. You made new friends, but it seemed like they still had the personality of the ones that continued to hold you back. What's up? Well, your mind thinks that it needs to keep recreating that past. So let's look at how we can get you to relax into suggestions of success instead of working so hard, because the more effort you put out, the more that the part of your mind that runs all of your habits and patterns, known as your subconscious, will resist you. The subconscious wants the workout. But if you don't know how to engage it, it's going to tell you no. You've already found this out. You've already talked to yourself to the point that you're like, I should be having progress, and you're not. And this is my job. Literally, this is my career. I'm a certified hypnotist as well as an instructor. I train others, and it is my job to get you to accept the suggestions of revealing you at your very best. So, for you to accept suggestions, three things need to be in place. Makes up the acronym of WIT: willingness, imagination, and trust. If your subconscious mind, which runs all of your habits and patterns, and success or failure is simply a repeated habit and pattern, if the subconscious mind is not willing, it does not matter how much you focus, how much you take action, you're just not going to get anywhere. So we have to get the subconscious mind on your side of success. Imagination, you're already using it, right? You've already got it primed, but unfortunately, you're reliving the argument in the shower 10, 15 times on what you would say different, which then tells your subconscious mind, okay, find all the arguments that we can get in so we can rehearse doing it 10 or 15 times different. Oh, no, not necessarily what you want to experience, right? But here's the other side of that. Most people are like, oh, well, I'll imagine everything positive, unicorns farting glitter rainbows. That is not going to work either, because your subconscious mind It didn't believe it. Nope. So we have to use the imagination in a way that is believable in the moment. And then there needs to be trust. And that trust is developed. If you're working with a hypnotist, it's not really trust, it's rapport. You have to develop trust with yourself that you're going to follow through on what needs to happen to support the suggestions you just gave yourself. And as I've shared with you previously, you cannot put deprivation in the driver's seat. Because when deprivation takes over and says you can't have this and you can't have that and you can't go here and you can't go there or buy that, or well, then you're priming your subconscious mind to find everything you can't do. That's not going to get you to where you want to go. So you have to begin to trust yourself to say, what are the steps that I can take today to support the suggestions I gave myself for progress, not avoiding pain? I'm going to put all of this together for you in a plan of action. But before I do that, I need to educate you on how you've been using processes and systems that maybe look really cool in a book, but you might as well use that book as a doorstop, because it's not in alignment with how you really work. There's an old saying, first you make your habits, and then your habits make you. We have to address the habits that you have in place that you think are holding you back, but they can actually be flipped. They can be switched to also hold you up. All right. So first, we need you to start accepting suggestions. And to do that, you want to understand hypnosis simply means to be highly suggestible. That's all it is. You can use it in a formal way when you work with someone like myself. You can even go to my website, drewdawnferguson.com, and download a free hypnosis audio and experience the suggestions that are there. So you can use it in a formal setting, but hypnosis is also a naturally occurring state. Behavioral science tells us it can happen 150, 200 times every single day, where you are hyper suggestible. Want to know when it happens? Every time you have an emotion, every time you have a feeling. Your powerful subconscious mind then scans your environment and says, what can I do to have more of these feelings? So your subconscious, which runs all of your habits and patterns, your subconscious must have electricity to work off of, an energy state. And emotions are what runs it. So the idea is not to not have emotions. Is that a double negative? Anyway, it's to be able to use the emotions you have instead of becoming overwhelmed and swamped by them, learning to ride these waves of energy, to ride this current. So every time you're in an emotional state, the subconscious mind says, oh, good. I can run even more of our habits and patterns because I've just been plugged in to some electricity. But the subconscious goes by a law known as like creates like. You know, if you plant tomato seeds, you get tomatoes, not squash. So when you experience a certain type of emotion, you're going to get its end result. But the end result is dual. There's two parts to it. There's the pain part, and then there's progress. I'll give you an example. Anger simply says a boundary has been violated. So when you get cut off on the highway, instead of going into road rage, you need to understand, oh, I'm upset because I feel like they honed in on my space. Okay, so what do I need to do to be a more careful driver so when those other idiots out there decide to do this, they don't take me out with them? So, see how anger could either be used for pain avoidance, and pain avoidance always shows up as I'm right, they're wrong. Because that's the number one fear, the fear we're going to be wrong. And we will go to great extents to prove that we're right. Just go on social media and scroll through your feed. You'll see what I'm talking about. All right. So we have to learn again to ride these waves of emotion. So when you're having this feeling, you're open to suggestion. So start looking at how you can use it in a way that's going to be beneficial. Frustration. Oh my goodness. Frustration simply means that there is untapped potential. A few days ago, I was supposed to be going live. I was actually leading a panel of people that I really respect in my industry. And about 3 minutes before we were supposed to go live, my computer crashed, my internet had a challenge, and now I have all these people that are texting me, calling me, sending me social media messages going, we can't get on to the panel. What do we do? And I was so frustrated. But that just pointed out that I needed to tap into some potential that I had. Because, well, have you ever heard of being so pissed you can't see straight? That's where I was at. And then I had to say, okay, well, instead of being pissed, what's the other side of it? Frustrated. There's potential here. The potential is that I need to be able to calm myself down so I can see what the next step is going to be. But before you can do that, you have to have already accepted the suggestions that you're going to move forward when you're in that type of state. See, it's not like all of a sudden I noticed I was ticked off and I'm like, okay, now I'm going to be able to ride this wave all the way in. No, I had already worked with it. And you're going to need to work with certain emotional states for up to 3 weeks. I had already spent, excuse me on that. I had already invested my focus, my feelings and my actions into previous times whenever being aggravated would come up like that and say, no, okay, try again. You've got this. Rise up. Take what's yours. And because I had already done that work, when this showed up, I was able to flip the switch in about 90 seconds. Okay. So don't expect everything to be brilliant right off the bat, because remember how I said you need to trust yourself and follow through? All right. So look at whenever you're experiencing an emotional state, and instead of telling yourself, I shouldn't be upset, I shouldn't be feeling this way, I must not do this, stay away from S&M, shoulds and musts. What do you think I was talking about? Okay. So instead go, well, what would be a progress way to use this emotion? And then what action would I need to take to show my subconscious that, yes, I really plan on using this for progress? Because there's only 2 directions your subconscious will go: pain avoidance or progress producing. So you're going to give yourself suggestions. I'm going to use this. I'm going to use this anxiety. The brain believes that anxiety and excitement are the same thing. It's just how you framed it. So yes, oh my gosh, I'm anxious. So what am I going to do? I'm going to use this for my betterment and find a way to turn it into excitement. And yes, I'm excited now. I thought it was anxiety, but I'm excited. So now I'm going to go in and I'm going to use that passion to produce something that's actually going to make the world a better place because I'm better in it. The subconscious will be willing to accept suggestions whenever you're using your imagination for progress and following through with your actions on trust. Now let's talk about if you decide to do self-hypnosis, what the very first step. This is the same process that I teach anyone that I'm going to train as a hypnotist. It's what I call wounded to wealth. And the very first step when you're doing a formal session, and those typically last 10 to 20 minutes max, no need to go longer than that. If you're working with a facilitator like myself, yes, you want to go longer because I'm going to be able to help you discover all sorts of interesting things. I'll give you a clue on a client I just worked with here recently. She had a phobia. What it was, it dealt with the outside. I'm not going to go into it, but she had a phobia. And so we took her back to the imprint, the time whenever her powerful mind decided that she should have this phobia. Her parents had always told her she was a toddler. That's not what came through. Surprise, surprise, it typically isn't. She was older than that. And what had happened is she felt like she was in a situation where her power was taken away from her. And she learned that she couldn't be in charge. And the younger her then developed this extreme reaction to being outdoors, not because it wanted to, but because it was saying, please pay attention to all the ways that you're giving away our power and still, even though you're an adult, acting like a child. Now, that's what came through for her. For you, it could be completely different. But when you work with a facilitator, it's not going to be a 10 or 20-minute session. Although I know some hypnotists, yeah, their sessions are about 20 minutes long because they're only doing behavioral modification. They're not doing identity upgrades. For me, it's not enough just for you to stop the bad behavior. I want you to discover all that untapped potential that's ready to move into progress. All right. Anyways, so back to the self-hypnosis. Self-hypnosis typically starts the same way I would start a session for you, with what's known as a body scan. This is where you're moving through the different parts of your body and you're allowing them to relax. Why do I want to do that? Because I want to teach you to relax into success and to quit fighting yourself. Oh, makes sense? Now, you don't have to do that during the day when it's a naturally occurring hypnotic state. You just need to notice the emotions that you're experiencing and find a way to ride the wave, the current, to lift you even higher. I like to say greater heights of success with less effort. But when you're doing a formal session and you will not allow yourself to relax for whatever reason, that simply means you're not open to accepting suggestions at that point in time. So do not push it. Understand you need to be willing. Now, this is just one step in several that we're going to be going over on these lives over the next few Tuesdays. I'm going to give you a couple of other options. DrewDawnFerguson.com/SH stands for self-hypnosis. Go there and see if the course that I would teach you on how to do this for yourself, where I'm going to go so much more in depth than what we are right now, is a good fit for you. And if it is, I will add on the bonus of another course that I'm going to be doing called Maximum Mindset for Your Health, Wealth, and Happiness, where I teach you advanced techniques that I've been training other certified hypnotists in on how to assist you in flipping the switch on your beliefs. Remember, I said you had to go all the way up to the top for that identity upgrade. So go to DrewDawnFerguson.com/SH if you want to check out and see if that course is going to be beneficial for you. The other thing is you can leave me a comment, hashtag self-hypnosis, just over the next 72 hours. So over the next 72 hours, hashtag self-hypnosis, all one word, and then I will send you the body scan that you can use to begin to develop trust in yourself and relaxing into these suggestible states. So hashtag self-hypnosis only for the next 72 hours. And I will then send you that body scan. All right, so let's do a quick recap. Why are you stuck internally? Because you won't accept any suggestions. You're not willing. You're using your imagination to go in the wrong direction, and there is no trust with yourself. So start recognizing when you go into a hypnotic state that's naturally occurring, and then start delivering suggestions that you're going to use those emotions that you're experiencing, whether they are pain avoidance or progress producing. You're going to use them to lift you up even higher. Imagine like you're in a sailboat and the waves are coming along and the wind is picking up, and you're going to use all of that to get to your destination faster, quicker, and easier. Know that if you have any questions, reach out to me, 636-699-7791. So until next week, start using these states and begin to take yourself to the next level up.